New Epstein files reveal satanic ritual sacrifices on humans.
Hmm.
Even reading that title out loud makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. But I really need to give a serious tone check here.
Right.
These allegations are graphic. We are going to be talking about torture, about rituals, and about abuse involving children. If you have kids in the car, or if you're just not in the headspace to stare into the abyss today, this might be the time to skip to the next deep dive.
A very fair warning.
But if you want to understand the story being told in these files, stick with us.
It's a dense narrative, and it starts, interestingly, not with the people, but with the infrastructure,
Yeah.
the money.
Let's start there then. The source material opens with a paper trail. It focuses on a specific wire transfer request allegedly made by Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
He's moving money from a generic-sounding account at Wachovia Bank.
Right. And the account name is Ball, just B-A-L-L.
Now, when I saw that document flash on the screen, my first thought was, okay, ball, that could be anything. You know, it sounds like a holding company or maybe an acronym. It's a very common word.
Totally normal word.
But the narrator immediately pumps the brakes and says, no, look closer.
And this is where you see the specific rhetorical strategy of the source. To a standard investigator, Ball is just a name.
Right.
But the narrator links this phonetically and spiritually to Baal, B-A-A-L.
The biblical figure.
Exactly. In biblical history, Baal is a Canaanite deity, often demonized in Judeo-Christian texts and associated with child sacrifice.
So the narrator is asking the viewer to make a huge leap here.
A huge leap that Epstein, a man of immense wealth, didn't just name an account Baal because he liked sports or it was some typo, but as a deliberate, thinly veiled homage to the entity he served.
So the argument is that there are no coincidences in this world, that even a bank account name is a signal.
Precisely. It sets the framework for everything that follows. The narrator is telling you this isn't just a financial crime, it's a spiritual one. And if you accept that Baal equals Baal, well, then you are primed to accept the next piece of evidence, which is much more visceral.
The torture videos. The source highlights a document where Epstein is reportedly receiving videos of torture from a contact. The name is redacted, but the description. It's not about abuse happening in the moment, it's about the consumption of it.
That's a key distinction, isn't it? The allegation here is that the cruelty was the product.
The product.
It was being recorded, packaged, and sent. It implies a market.
And every market needs a factory. This is where the source pivots to the location. We've all heard about the island, we've heard about the mansion in New York, but this deep dive focuses heavily on the New Mexico property, the Zorro Ranch.
And notice the language the narrator uses here. He doesn't call it a vacation home. He doesn't even just call it a site of abuse.
No, he calls it a baby-making ranch.
That phrase, it just sticks with you, doesn't it?
It's horrific. And he goes further, describing the women there as human incubators. I have to ask, why use that specific terminology? It feels so mechanical.
And that's the intent. The narrator is stripping away the humanity of the victims to show you how, in his view, the perpetrator saw them. By using terms like incubators and baby-making ranch, he's arguing this was an industrial operation.
Not just random acts.
It wasn't just perversion, it was production. The claim is that they were breeding humans for the specific purpose of the rituals we mentioned earlier.
It paints a picture of an efficiency that makes the whole thing 10 times scarier.
It is.
It's not a crime of passion, it's a supply chain.
A supply chain for sacrifice. That's the picture the source is building. And once you have that infrastructure, the ball money, the factory ranch, you need the participants.
Which brings us to the most explosive part of the source material, the names. The narrator introduces this concept of shattering the idols. I found this fascinating just from a storytelling perspective. What is he actually trying to do here?
Well, think about the roles celebrities and politicians play in our modern lives. We look up to them.
We defend them.
We defend them. In a biblical sense, we worship them. They are idols.
They're idols, yeah.
And the narrator's thesis is that these documents have been released by a higher power specifically to smash those idols, to show the public that the people they worship are actually monsters.
And he doesn't pull any punches. He starts at the absolute top of the political food chain. A former president of the United States, George H.W. Bush.
This is, without a doubt, the most graphic and extreme allegation in the entire video.
I honestly struggled to get through this part of the source. We need to report what it says, but it's tough. The alleged document describes the former president forcing himself on a male victim, but then it goes into this ritualistic territory.
It claims he participated in the dismemberment of infants and the consumption of feces.
It sounds absolutely insane. Like, my brain wants to reject it immediately because it's just so over the top. Why would the narrator include something that extreme? Doesn't it hurt credibility?
That's a valid question, but look at it through the lens of shattering idols. If you accuse a president of tax fraud, people shrug.
Right, it's expected almost.
If you accuse him of an affair, people forgive him. But if you accuse him of eating feces and killing babies,
Yeah.
you cannot rationalize that. It is designed to create total revulsion.
Oh, okay, I see.
It is meant to dehumanize him completely so that you can never look at him as a statesman again. You can only see him as a demon.
It burns the bridge back to normalcy.
Exactly. There is no going back from that mental image. And the source applies this same shattering technique across different sectors of society. We move from American politics to the British monarchy.
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew.
Now, Prince Andrew's connection to Epstein is, well, it's well documented in the mainstream. We saw the interview. We know he settled a lawsuit.
We do.
But this source suggests the mainstream story that he was just a guy who took advantage of the situation is a lie.
The source alleges he was far more active. It claims he tortured a victim recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell. But the specific legal term the narrator focuses on is accessory to her death.
Accessory to death. Wow, it's a huge step up from abuser.
It's a massive escalation. Being an accessory to death implies he was involved in a murder or the cover-up of a murder.
Right.
It shifts the narrative from sleazy royal to criminal killer. It implicates the entire royal institution in a blood crime. Again, it's about making it impossible for you, the viewer, to respect the institution.
It feels like a systematic takedown of every pillar of power. We've got politics, we've got royalty, and then we pivot to tech.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. This one struck me as different in tone. It wasn't about blood rituals in the same way. It felt more about betrayal.
Betrayal, yes.
The source cites an email where Gates allegedly requests antibiotics, but not just for himself.
Right. The claim is that he contracted sexually transmitted diseases from Russian girls, and he needed antibiotics to surreptitiously medicate his wife, Melinda, so she wouldn't find out.
That's insidious. It's not the gore of the Bush allegation, but it's almost more personal.
It is. It attacks the specific idol image of Bill Gates, who is Bill Gates to the public. He's the philanthropist,
The health guy.
the health guy, the man trying to save the world with vaccines and medicine.
And this narrative just flips that on its head.
Precisely. The counter-narrative is, he's not a savior. He's a man who poisons his own wife to cover up his sins. It frames his medical interventions as deceptive, which feeds directly into broader conspiracy theories about his health work. It destroys the good guy mask.
And finally, the source comes for the entertainment industry. We have the music mogul and the movie producer, Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein.
So we know Weinstein is a convicted predator. That is established fact.
An absolute fact.
But the source drags Jay-Z Sean Carter into the room.
Literally into the room.
Yes. The witness statement referenced claims Jay-Z was present watching Harvey Weinstein assault a victim.
So he wasn't the one committing the assault in this specific instance, but he was the audience.
And in the narrator's moral universe, that makes him equally guilty. It goes back to the torture videos we talked about at the start. It's the theme of voyeurism.
Ah.
The claim is that these industry titans, people who shape our culture, our music, our movies, are entertained by suffering. It positions Jay-Z not as a talented artist, but as a complicit member of a hidden club.
It really is a shotgun blast at the entire ruling class. No one is safe. If you have power, this source implies you are compromised.
That's the unified theory. It connects the dots between Washington, London, Silicon Valley, and Hollywood. It says they are all on the same team, and it's not your team.